Today we'll start a new chapter of class 9. Is matter around us pure? This is the second chapter. So before we start this chapter, let us know once again what is matter. We have already studied what is matter in chapter 1. But just recollect what is matter. Matter is anything which has mass and occupies space. It is the simple definition of matter. It may be solid, liquid or gas. Now matter is of two types. Pure matter, impure substances. So here is the classification of matter. So here you can see the matter, the definition of matter is given, that occupies space and possesses mass, may exist as solid, liquid or gas. So matter is of two types. It occurs in two forms in nature. One is pure substance, other is mixture. So pure substance, what is pure substance? The matter having an invariant chemical composition and distinct properties. That means the chemical compositions are same. The chemical composition of the matter is same. That means each and every particle of the matter is having same chemical composition. Then that is called pure substance. So again, this pure substance is of two types. It can be element, it can be compounds. So what are elements? Elements are the fundamental substances and that cannot be separated into simpler substances by chemical methods. So generally, what are the chemical methods by which we separate the substances or the elements? That is the electrolysis. Okay. So here I have given you the chemical methods of separation is electrolysis. Okay. So these elements, the particles of the elements cannot be separated by the chemical method. Now what are compounds? Compounds are also pure substances, but they may be composed of two or more elements in a particular proportion, in a fixed proportion, and can be separated into simpler substances and elements only by chemical methods. So by no physical method, the compounds can be separated into simpler substances. Okay. Now what is the other type of matter? That is mixture. Mixture is a matter consists of two or more pure substances that retain their individual identities and can be separated by physical method. So what is the major difference between pure substance and mixture? That is, pure substances, if it is element, it cannot be separated by chemical method, the constituent particles. But if the pure substance is a compound, then the constituent particles can be separated by chemical method. But what is mixture? Mixture consists of two or more pure substances and they can be separated by physical methods. So these mixtures are of two types, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So what is homogeneous mixture? Mixture having a uniform composition and properties throughout. It is also called a solution. So, and what is heterogeneous mixture? Mixture not uniform in composition and properties throughout. And what are the physical methods by which the constituent pure substance can be separated? That is the filtration, distillation and crystallization. So, we'll discuss about mixture in our successive sessions. But in this session, we'll discuss about the elements. So here with diagram, with examples, I have given the types of matter. So matter, two types, that is pure substance, mixture. Again, it is pure substance is of two types, elements, compounds. So here you can see element. This is a copper teapot. that means it is made up of only copper. ये सिर्फ कॉपर से बना हुआ है. ये कॉपर पार्टिकल्स हम सेपरेट कर सकते हैं? नहीं कर सकते. सारे जितने सारे कॉपर पार्टिकल्स इसमें है, कॉपर का जो कंपोनेंट्स है वो सारे आपका एक जैसा है और सबका केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज एक ही है. तो वी कैन नॉट सेपरेट दिस बाय केमिकल मेथड. हम अगर सेपरेट करना चाहेंगे तो किससे सेपरेट करेंगे? ऑल आर कॉपर पार्टिकल्स. ओके, सो हियर द पार्टिकल स्ट्रक्चर्स आर गिवन. Okay, all are copper particles. But here you see the diagram of baking soda. Okay, so in baking soda you can see NaSO3, that is sodium bicarbonate. So here you can see that is it is in a fixed proportion. Sodium, hydrogen and carbonate are there, and they can be separated by chemical process. By electrolysis they can be separated from each other. Okay, now here you can see the mixture. So mixtures, here you can see tea. Okay, in tea what happens when we boil the tea, the particles released from the tea dust, it mixes with the water. It mixes with water, but it cannot be separated. Suppose say after boiling the tea, we can separate it by filtration. The tea dust can be separated by filtration. But here you can see this is fig. This is the pulp of the figs, and here you can see the flowers are there. Fig flowers are there. So they are occupying a separate entity. Okay, they are completely different from each other. So they can also be separated by physical method. Now let us start. What are pure matters? As I have told you, pure substances may be defined as materials which contains only one kind of atoms or molecules. As I have shown you that um, the copper pot I have shown you, that is a pure metal, or you can say pure substance. It means that all the constituent particles of that substance are the same in their chemical nature. Okay. A pure substance consists of a single type of particle, as I have shown you in the copper pot. In other words, a substance is a pure single form of metal. Now, what are the types of pure substances? On the basis of their chemical composition, substances can be classified either as elements or compounds. That means the pure substances are of two types. On what basis? On the basis of their chemical composition. Okay. So one is element, other is compound. Now in this session we will discuss in details about the elements. Robert Boyle was the first scientist to use the term element in 1661. Antoine Laurent Lavoisier, a French chemist, was the first to establish an experimentally useful definition of an element. So, according to Lavoisier, what is the definition of element? He defined an element as a basic form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reaction. So, this definition was given by Lavoisier. So, here you can see elements. So, here you can see the helium atoms. Okay. So, there is no other substance mixed with this. Here you can see oxygen molecule. Oxygen always we write O2. So, that means two oxygens are always in combined form. So, they are oxygen molecules. So, other than oxygen, no any other particle is there or element is there. So, they are pure substances. But here you can see in the compounds, the hydrogen atoms bonding with the oxygen atoms. Okay. So, this is also a pure substance. But here you can see the particles are different. Two types of particles are present. Each molecule consists of two hydrogen and one oxygen. So it is a compound. But these hydrogen and oxygen can be separated by chemical method. But they cannot be separated by chemical method. Now, what are the different types of elements? Elements can be normally divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. So, we'll discuss the metals, non-metals and metalloids one by one. So, first properties of metals. Metals usually show some or all of the following properties. So, what are those properties? They have a luster. You have all earlier studied in your previous class in class 7th, that is even in class 8th also you have studied the different chemical and physical properties of metals. So they have a luster, means they shine. They have a silvery grey or golden yellow color. They conduct heat and electricity. They are ductile, that means they can be drawn into wires. They are malleable, that means they can be spread into a sheet. They are sonorous. So when they strike to a hard surface, they produce a ringing sound. Now here we'll discuss about some of the examples of metals. Gold, silver, copper, iron, sodium, potassium. These are some examples of metals. Remember, mercury is the only metal that is liquid at room temperature. But other metals are always solid. Then properties of non-metals. Non-metals usually show some or all of the following properties. So what are those properties? They display a variety of colors. Okay. They are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They are not lustrous, sonorous or malleable. Whereas these properties are shown by metals. Examples of nonmetals are hydrogen, oxygen, iodine, carbon, bromine, chlorine, etc. Now what are metalloids? Some elements have intermediate properties between those of metals and non-metals. They are called metalloids. Examples: boron, silicon, germanium, etc. So here are some points, more points about elements. The number of elements known at present are more than 100. 92 elements are naturally occurring and the rest are man-made. Majority of the elements are solid. 11 elements are in gaseous state at room temperature. 2 elements are liquid at room temperature, that is mercury and bromine. Elements like gallium and cesium become liquid at a temperature slightly above room temperature. Okay, that means their melting point is very low. Now, here we can compare the metals, non-metals and metalloids. So, these are the basis of comparison. First, we will discuss the meaning of metals, non-metals and metalloids. What are metals? Metals are the substances which exhibit the highest degree of metallic behavior. So, it shows all the metallic behavior that we have already discussed, that is lustrous, sonorous, malleable, ductile, good conductors of heat and electricity. Then what are non-metals? Non-metals are such elements which do not possess any metallic behavior. So those behavior which are shown by metals are not shown by the non-metals. Then metalloids. Metalloids are such elements which possess some of the properties like metal, while some like non-metals. If we take the basis as the appearance as the basis of comparison, then metals have a shiny appearance, non-metals have a dull appearance, metalloids have a shiny and dull appearance. Okay, that means in some state they are having shiny appearance, and in some state they are having, some states they are having dull appearance. Conductivity, thermal and electrical conductivity is very high in metals. It is very low in non-metals, and the electrical and thermal conductivity is good in metalloids, but it is less than that of metals. Then ductility and malleability. Metals show ductility and malleability. That means it can be stretched into a wire and it can be made into a sheet. But these properties are not shown by the non-metals, and metalloids also do not show the properties like ductility and malleability. So here you can see some of the examples of metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay. So here lead, tin, copper. So these are metals. Here non-metals are sulfur, neon, iodine. Okay. Here the description of non-metals are there. Here the description of metals are there. And metalloids. So metalloids are boron, silicon, antimony. Okay. So they are also called semiconductor. Remember children, this is very important point. That is the metalloids are called semiconductors. That means their conductivity is less than the metals, but it is more than the non-metals. Okay. So they are good conductors, but if you compare the conductivity with that of metals, then it is a poor conductor than the metals. Okay. So in this session we have discussed what are elements, different types of elements, and in our next session we'll discuss about the compounds. Okay.